All right, we are recording. Welcome, everybody, to Power Hour. It is Monday, the 5th of February. 36 days are down, 329 left this year. I hope everybody is crushing their goals and continuing on. First thing I want to talk about before we even get into questions is I want to make sure that everybody is aware, especially, already freezing up and I'm 30 seconds in. What in the world? All right, that was fun and pleasant. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Power Hour. All right, so before we get into any questions, I wanted to just mention to everybody that we are a week away, or a month and a couple of days away from International Leadership Academy. I cannot stress to you how important it is for you first to make sure that you have your ticket and that you have plans for going to this event in Fort Worth, Texas, but also for everybody else in your organization. All right. Had some great discussions with some folks today, and right away they said, well, when is it? I told them date. No, I can't go. And I had that discussion with some folks on Saturday, and no, I got this thing going on. Can't go. It's really easy to just say, okay, yeah, no big deal. Well, maybe you can make the next one. And that is not doing a very good job in this business. All right. Claire's smiling because she was one that I had that chat with her. She had just gotten started. We were doing her launch. We were sitting in Fuddruckers. I remember where I was sitting. I remember who was there. It was Jake. It was Candace. Brian Pinso was there. And she was sitting to my left, just got done with the chicken salad. I mean, I remember this day, and said, hey, you need to make sure you're at this thing. Oh, we're not going to be able to make it. That was my response. So when you do this isn't just for you. You guys got to go. You guys are on this for a reason. You guys are in Power Hour for a reason. It might be that somebody just told you, hey, jump on this Power Hour thing. They talk about some fun stuff. But chances are you're on here because you have plans on taking this thing all the way to the top. You have plans on making this be the thing that really, really changes a lot of things in your life. I had a chat with another guy last night, actually, Adam Nelson. I'm going to just call him out. And I was chatting with him. I said, are you going to be able to make it to ILA? He said, I don't know, man. It's not looking too good. And I said, you just got done telling me literally just a couple of minutes ago how much you are sick and tired of your job. And now you are fighting to be able to find out a reason why you can't go that's based upon that job that you can't stand. What happens is that we get in a rut. We get into a rut into what we think and what we need to do. You guys have to find a way. You have to be aware of the fact that your subconscious is keeping you down this straight, narrow path here, that you keep doing what has gotten you to where you're at right now that you're so sick and tired of doing. You got to understand that's where that comes from. It's not the wind that's blowing on you. It's not the circumstances. It is choices that are made. I'm just starting off straight between the eyeballs with you all because I'm so passionate about this, especially as we get into the last couple of weeks before this event. You guys have got to make sure that you're there, and then you have got to make sure that your people are there. Do not let them give you those excuses. Now, here's the deal. You got to be cautious of how you go down this path with people, because they're gonna think that you're attacking them when you attack circumstances. Make sure you're crystal clear. Make sure they hear you, because when you get into this stuff, they don't hear you anymore. All they do is they see the thing that's keeping them on the path that they're on, and they will fight for that. Human beings are very, very interesting creatures. Okay? So you got to be very, very cognizant of the fact that they are going to fight you for this. They are going to fight for their limitations. And you got to come in and you got to fight back for them. They don't even know they're doing it. It's like the lifeguard that sees somebody drowning. The first thing they teach you in lifeguarding school is don't get pulled underwater by the drowning victim. They will do anything to keep themselves in that spot from drowning while they are drowning. And that means that they will drown the person that's coming to save them, because it will give them 3 more seconds of oxygen. That's just how our minds work. That's how the survival mechanisms in our brains work. And when you touch a nerve with somebody, the same thing is going to happen. So when you do that, you got to do it from a place of love. You got to do it for them, not for you. Is there a benefit for them going to ILA if they're in your organization? Directly, immediately? No, there's none. Will it benefit you down the road? Absolutely. Why? Because they're going to understand this business. Their belief level is going to go up in this business. They are going to go talk to people about this business, and that will increase your business. So yes, you will get a benefit from that. Do not do it for that reason. Do it for them. Find out what their reason for doing this business is, and make sure you stand up for them. And you make sure that they're going. And when they come up with an excuse, acknowledge that, and then say, I hear that. Is there a way that we can work around that? What's a possibility that we can do to get around that? And when you start living in that world of possibilities, then they will start finding a way. And that's what you want them to. They will figure it out if they are sufficiently motivated to do so. But sometimes that takes you a little push from you to get them to even be aware that they are shutting it down before they even had a chance of it getting started. So first thing is, you got to have your ticket. You can't go do that if you don't have your ticket. And if you don't have your ticket, you're not going to be interested in helping other people go get their ticket, because they're going to call you out, and that's going to be uncomfortable for you. So I'm going to do that for them. I'm going to call you out now, and I'm going to want to make sure that everybody has their ticket. And here's the deal. The price is just going to go up. So get your ticket and then figure it out. Now, it's real easy in a group setting when half of you don't even have your video on. Don't forget, we need your video on. It's real easy to hide in a group setting and go, oh, yeah, I've got mine. And then you don't actually have your ticket. So here's what I would request. This is a request from you all. And I want you to post on the Power Hour thread a picture of your tile in your back office that shows that you're going to the event. Okay, so here's how you do that. I'm going to share my screen real fast, and I'll show you all how to go about that. When you log into your back office, underneath reports, genealogy view, I want you to do a filter by name. Type in your name, hit apply. It will show your item here, and it will say convention ticket, and it will have a yes right there in the check mark. And I want you guys to take a screenshot of that, a clipping of that. If you have Windows 10, you can go into the screen clipping snipping tool. You pick new, and you grab that, and then you show that convention ticket right there. Copy that, and then go into the Power Hour thread and post that. Okay? If y'all don't know how to do that, or if that was too fast, go look at the recording of this thing. It was 9:12 when I said that. All right, so let's move on. Let's get into some questions from the group. Before we do that, while people are coming up with their questions, just for all the new folks, if you don't mind, please turn your video on. It's very helpful for this group to see all of the new people that are in the exact same boat that they are. And I really appreciate you guys doing that. It also makes the recording a little bit better too when they see all those faces in there, because all they're going to see is blank boxes. They're not going to see all the names of it. So, and why I do this, I want everybody to be able to see everybody else. I want there to be a human element to this, that everybody goes, look, these are people just like me. They have hopes, dreams, aspirations just like me. They have fears of this business just like me. They're excited about it, but they're nervous about it just like me. And I want you all to see those people. And I also want you to think about all these people. If you ever think about quitting this business, you are hurting these people. And that's strong. That's strong medicine I'm throwing out there, and that's how I do it. So I hope you guys get used to that if you ain't already. It's not just about you. Their neighbor, their friends, their families, their members, the people that they run into, the people that they're going to run into one day could be helped by you figuring this business out, you sticking it out and learning the skills that it takes to be successful in this business. So that's what Power Hour is all about, is training on those skills. All right. And we do this every week. We do it on Mondays and we do it on Wednesdays. And so I hope everybody is here ready to ask some questions, because I open this up for questions. So if you have one, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask away on your question. If you prefer to just type it, or maybe you don't have a microphone on your phone, you can go into the chat session and type it in there. But what is our first question for the evening from anybody?
Mr. Salge, I had a question.
Yes, sir.
In regards to customers who didn't sign up for auto ship and had the product for a month, how do you go about converting them into setting up Prime or turning on auto ship?
First step is call them. Reach out to them, see them in person if you can. In person is always best if appropriate and available. After that is a telephone call. After that is going to be text message or Facebook Messenger. But I reach out to them directly and I say, hey, it's coming up per my records. It looks like you were probably finishing up your month's supply. And then ask them, what did you like best about what you've been taking for the last month? And we use that phrase quite a few places, but this is a great spot for it. What did you like best about the product that you've been taking? And then get them to tell you. And then say, cool, I like that too. What else did you like? And they tell you, that's awesome. I like that too. What else did you like? And they keep doing that until that's it. Just those 47 things that I liked about the product. Cool. Are you ready to go ahead and get that ordered again? Because I'd like for you to not have any gap between being able to take the product and get all those benefits that you experienced. Chances are they got busy and they forgot to order it, because that's human beings. You've been busy and you've forgotten to do something before. Now what will happen is we will tell ourselves a very big, real loud story about why they didn't continue. And you'll sit there and you'll talk yourself out of calling them. You'll talk yourself into a big old frenzy. And then when it's all said and done, you finally get in touch with them. And you go, oh yeah, I forgot to order that thing. Can you take care of that for me? And you're like, oh my God. You over here having this mental warfare with yourself. And when it was all said and done, they just want to be a customer. They didn't think about it. So yeah, give them a call, hit them up that way. And then one of the things is they might not even know they could do that. It's not that you didn't tell them, it's they weren't listening.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Does that help?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Excellent. Very good. Good question. Haven't had that one before. I like it. All right. Let's see. Who all we have in here? I see all sorts of folks. Got some sapphires. We have some pearls in here. We have some jades. Some garnets in here. Very good. New folks. Mr. Ernest Blacknell, good to see you, sir. Sarah, I hear you're getting ready to have a little get-together tomorrow. I'm excited for you guys. All right. All right, seriously, no questions? All right, well, I'll jump into, oh, you got one. What you got, Brenda? I can't hear you yet.
There you go. Can you hear me now?
I got you.
Okay. So I have some customers that's on auto draft for the end of the month. Mm-hmm. So considering, we're in February, how is that going to work? Is that going to go towards this month somehow, or is it going to roll over to the next month?
That's a really good question, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know the answer. Anybody on here know the answer? What happens if it's ordered on if it was the 29th, 30th, or 31st? When's that going to hit? I would assume they would do it on the 28th just to get it in, but I do not know the official answer on that. All right, no one's jumping up. So best bet is call customer support on that one. Karen, what you got?
Hey, I was just going to say, my auto ship is on the 4th, but it was a Sunday, and it went out today. So I don't know if that means that they'll ship on the 1st of March or not, but I'm sure customer service could tell us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good question. So the teaching moment out of all that, I guess, is get everybody to put theirs on the 1st.
Yeah.
And then what's good about that is you'll know right where you're at the beginning of the month and what you have left to do to be able to hit your rank. Because after a while and your organization gets going, you don't know when people are coming in, when they're getting that. It's nice to have that in the beginning, know how far along you are. Good. I've been stumped. Good job, Brenda. Good question. All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, let's jump in. The one main item I want to talk about today is on the invite. Actually, two things I want to talk about. Get that frog out of my throat. Let me share my screen. Some of you that were on the shared launch on Saturday saw some of this, but I'm going to show it again because it's probably the best way that I have explained it in a while on what we do. So I'm just going to hit a couple of key points here on getting this thing started. So this is going to apply for just our basic process. First thing that you have to do is you have to have rapport with your prospects. And before you can have prospects, you got to have a list. And before you create your list, you're going to have a why. So those two things need to be figured out first. And then after that, once you have your why in place, then your list has got all the different people in it. And then for the rapport, you've got rapport built in with your list. And then what you've got is you need to pique their interest. And then what you need to do is you need to pass the ball. And to do that, you need to edify the proof person. And then they are going to conduct an inoculation. And then after the inoculation, there's going to be a presentation. And then after the presentation, there's going to be validation. And after validation, there's going to be enrollment. We don't get anybody, we enroll them. There's a video about that earlier in the week. And then after that, we need to launch them. And then after that, we got to get them to ILA. Okay? Now, here's what I want to point out is that these items here are done by you, and these items here are done by the machine. Okay? So I want to draw a little factory here. And just so you know, my drawing was just as bad in the training. And this factory there's your Team Fusion logo, okay? And what we do is we take this list, and this list has a dump truck here. I know it looks like a poodle, but there's your dump truck. And then in your dump truck, you have the Plinko buttons that I always like talking about. And all of these people right here, this is your list. Okay. And in your truck, you got a fuel tank right there. And in there, that's where your Y goes. That's the fuel in the truck to make the truck move. And then what you do is you're going to dump all of these little Plinko buttons, people off of your list, onto this conveyor belt. And this conveyor belt is going to feed all these people into the factory. And what comes out is going to be business partners, customers, or neither. Okay? So the rapport has to be done early. That's your job out here, putting it on the conveyor belt. Piquing their interest is done outside the factory by you when you put them on the conveyor belt. Edification is done by you out here on the conveyor belt before it goes in. As soon as it goes inside the little door here into the factory, the very first thing that happens is somebody else is going to take over. You just got to get them on the conveyor belt. Everything else happens behind the scenes. Some of those things that are going to happen is first thing we're going to do is we're going to inoculate that person. We're going to give them a good spray in. Make sure they don't infect anything inside the factory. What we're looking for is we're looking for a couple of things. We want to make sure that they will even follow the process to even get on the phone with somebody. Sometimes they won't do that. They won't even get on the phone. Guess what? That part is defective for this factory. And there's a little trap door right here where they fall out. And once it goes through, we're going to check them. We're going to make sure that they're what we're looking for. And during that inoculation talk, that's going to find out a lot of things. For one, it's going to make sure that they don't think this factory is like any other factory they've seen. So we're going to have a chat with them. We're going to let them know that this is different than Amway, Tupperware, Herbalife, Mary Kay, and Avocare. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to tell them how this was founded by billionaires. We're going to tell them how this is two product lines, not a whole catalog. We're going to talk about the technology that exists, that all they have to do is a couple little parts. They don't have to do all of it. We're going to explain to them this is not sales. We're going to explain to them that the factory works. The factory works great. All they got to do is pour things into the factory, and out comes customers or business partners. And then some of the people that are going to come out of that are going to fall through the little trap door, and they aren't interested. And that is completely cool. Okay? So all you got to be good at are doing these items here. So I want to talk a little bit about, y'all have got rapport with your list. That's why it's your list. If you can think about them, there is some level of rapport. If you write them down, there's a pretty good chance you know them in some fashion. Now, maybe you just decided that you were going to write down Warren Buffett on your list. That's cool. If you don't know Warren, I'm okay with that. But for the most part, when you write down the names on there, you know them. You've got rapport with them. So the next thing you got to do is piquing. The edification is literally copy, paste, and send every time. Same thing, no difference. You just change one name for the edification part. So where the rubber hits the road, where things get interesting, is piquing their interest. And if you're not having success with things coming out of the factory on the other end, it's probably because the piquing part has a hole in it. That little part of the conveyor belt had a hole. And it's not getting, it's broken, it's ripped, it's flapping around as it goes around the conveyor belt. Something ain't working right. It's probably because the pique isn't being done. Sometimes what happens on the pique is that we pitch too soon. Okay? So let's set this up. You got somebody on your list, somebody that you know some things about. That means you have rapport with them. And sometimes you go straight to these people and you start telling them, trying to pique their interest, but you tell them a whole bunch of stuff that's important to you. I want to break down the pique into a couple things. I want you to first make sure on the pique, so we're digging hard into this. And to do the pique means you had to have the rapport, so you've got some level of rapport. But you need to ask some questions on the pique. Before you do the actual pitch, when you're getting set up to do this pique, pique is getting them to raise their hand. Before you can get them to raise their hand, you have to say stuff to them. They're not going to raise their hand if you just look at them. And they're like, what? Why are you looking at me? They don't know what to do with that. You got to say, hey, I've got something you want to see. Oh, what do you got? Now, before you can say that, you got to know some things about them. You got to tailor your pitch to the person that you're talking with. It's not always a one size fits all. Now, a couple things come into play. Do you have influence over this person? If you have influence, then you can come in and just lay the smack down and just say, here's what's going on. You need to do this. And that will pique their interest. Oh, it sounds good. Yeah, what you got? Let me take a look at it. If you don't have influence with them, let's say that you have a peer relationship with them in this manner, then what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to find out something that they would be interested in. You need to hear things from them. They need to tell you something personal about what they want. I make the analogy on this is, think about, you got a baseball game here, and you got the pitcher mound, and then you got the catcher over here. And then you got the pitcher up on the mound humming the fastball to the catcher. Now, if the catcher's looking, it's a beautiful thing to watch. What sometimes is happening is you guys are throwing these fastballs at the catcher's head, and the catcher is looking over in the dugout trying to figure out what the play is. And you throw a 97 mile an hour right there into the ear hole. They don't like that. They call you other holes, all right? So you guys are chunking these things at people's head, and they ain't even ready for the pitch. Okay, so that's why I want to break this down for you. I want to make sure that that person is ready to receive this pitch that you're getting ready to throw at them. When you throw it at them, it's got to be a pitch that they care about. If you have influence, then they will pay attention. But even then, it's good. Even if you have influence, I have influence over my kids. I tell them things to do. They pay a whole lot more attention when it's coupled with something that they want to hear about. Go take the trash out. Okay, I'm telling them what to do. I have influence. I'm giving them the pitch. It works a whole lot better. It says, if you take the trash out, we will go play Call of Duty. That trash is taken care of really, really fast. Why? Because there's something in it for them. What's in it for me? That's the radio station that you have got to tune into. You need to hear that this person over here, your prospect, they are interested in this and this alone. So you got to figure out what is important to them. How do you do that? You might already know, you might have that much rapport with them. But it's good to bring it to the forefront. Hey, you still dealing with those issues you were telling me about a couple months ago? That's a real good way to start off, especially if you don't remember what the issues were. Yeah, I am. I'm not sleeping worth a darn. That's right. He couldn't sleep. I thought it was fibromyalgia, but it was sleep. That's right. That's right. I'm glad you mentioned that, Tim. I'm glad you shared that with me. Hey, if I can help you get rid of that problem, would you be interested in learning about it? Why, no, I do not want to hear how I can sleep better. Of course. What do you got? They're interested in. You can pique their interest a whole lot easier when it's what's in it for them. So how do you go about figuring out what they are interested in? Here's some things that you can talk about. You can talk about them and talk about their family. How's your family doing? How are the kids? You can talk about how's work going? Do you still hate your job? You hate your job as much as I hate my job? You still sitting in traffic for an hour and a half to get to that blood-sucking job of yours? Are these leading questions? Yes, they are. You are sending this down a certain path. You can ask them about, hey, did y'all ever get to go on that cruise? Which is a real good one that can fall back into occupation when they say no. It's like, oh, that sucks. You didn't get to go on that cruise that you've been wanting to do? Didn't get the bonus? Man, that's terrible. Oh, you had to work that weekend? That's terrible. Find some things that they're not too interested in continuing on. Find out what it is that they want or what they don't like, and help them get what they want and help them get rid of what they don't like. Another one that you can talk about is motivation. When people tell me that they're bored or they don't have anything going on, that means that there's a lack of motivation. So have a conversation with them. Hey, you look like you are not having fun. Let's get your mind off of that. What do you like doing that just really motivates you? How would you put your dent on the, what's the thing that gets you up out of the bed on the weekends? I know what gets you up out of bed during the week. That's something called a job that you need money so that you can live in a house with your family. I get it. But on the weekends, what's the thing that motivates? What do you like to do? Wouldn't it be cool if you got to spend more time doing that, doing the things that you want? Yeah, that'd be nice. I hear you. Are you being serious when you tell me that would be nice, or are you just, venting with me? You're just venting? Fair enough. No worries. You do that, they're going to come back. Wait a second. What do you mean? What are you talking about? I got a way that can help that, man. And I know how tired I am of hearing everybody talk about those things, but sometimes people just need to blow off steam. I get it. No, what you got? You got something that would be able to do that? Yeah, man, I got something that absolutely would allow you to go on a trip that you'd want to actually take, not the one that you had to take last time. I got a way that you could absolutely not have to go into work anymore if you chose to. I got a way that you can spend a whole lot more time with your family if you wanted to do that. What is it? That's where that's when you screw up. You get out of that and then boom, you start answering. Well, let me tell you. And here's what you do. You decide that it's time for you to be in the factory and do all the work. And then you decide you need to start presenting them information. You decide that you need to start feeding them information. Let me send you to teamfusionfamily.com. Can you send me some information? I sure could, but I'm not going to. Why? Because you need to talk to this guy first. You might infect the factory. I might give you all this information, and then you jump into the factory, and then you burn the whole thing down. No, we need to inoculate you first. This making sense? So don't do the presentation. Pique their interest. How do you pique their interest? You got to find out what's important to them. How do I do that, Casey? I don't know what's important to them. Ask questions. Be a human being. Be interested in the other person. And truly be interested in what they've got. And the reason you want to know what they're interested in is because you are going to help them get that. And when you help them get that, you are then going to get what you want. But you come second, or third, or thousandth, or however many people you have in your organization. You come last. Because we are doing this for them. When you do it for them, everything in this business works out extremely well. When you do it for that guy, it might work for a time, but it will not sustain. It will not be there for a long term. I promise you that. Make it about this person, not about this person. When it's about this person, your business will explode. All right. Anybody got any questions for me? Give me a thumbs up if that clicked for you. Okay, cool. So if you understand that part, then you guys' business should be absolutely exploding. If your business is not exploding, it's because you are not doing that right there. You're not peaking. You've got a list. You've got rapport with them. You need to make sure you're peaking. Now, some of you have rapport with people, and you keep building rapport, and you keep building rapport, and you've got rapport that is unbreakable. Back to when it's time to pitch. When do you pitch? When they give you something personal. Sometimes that takes 30 days to build rapport with somebody until they tell you something personal. Sometimes it takes 14 seconds. It is based upon that person when they're ready, not that guy. Somebody said, well, I just need to keep building rapport. No, that's because you are uncomfortable with this business. People told you, literally, I've had instances where people are saying, yeah, I've got a couple friends that are dealing with sleep issues, and one of them's got some diabetes issues, and another one's got PTSD, but I need to make sure that we're, we got everything right here before I reach out to them. Why is that? Well, I don't want them to feel. And when you say those words, it's about you. I don't want them to feel. I'm sorry, you don't have that ability. What that is fear. That is fear of how this person is going to perceive you. It is not about that person. It's all about this guy. When it's about that guy, your business doesn't grow, you don't blow up. When it's about this guy, everything works out. Truly genuine about that person. They've told you the things that they are dealing with. They've told you about the fibromyalgia. They told you about the PTSD. They told you about the diabetes. They told you all these things. It's time to pique their interest, folks. Hey, I know you've got diabetes. I care about you. I don't care what you think about me. I'm here to help you. You will see that in time, if not right away. That fear of rejection, that fear of what somebody's going to think about you is keeping you out of impacting those lives. So, question on here is, how do we set up, coordinate a three-way call with you or another proof person? Very good question. So once we have piqued their interest and you say, hey, I know you've got diabetes. I'm here to help. They say, what you got? You say, I need to have you take a look at something. If it's customer base, the inoculation and the presentation and the validation, all three steps are done by something called Wellness Simplified. You let that do the inoculation. You let that do the presentation. When they say, oh, I've seen those types of things before. No, you haven't. You've never seen anything like this. You have never seen a private Facebook group that went in from August 23rd until now to have over 44,000 people in it talking about what this has done for people. I'm sorry, you have not. Stand up for them. Fight for them. They're over here trying to stay in that little rut. And here you go bringing up all sorts of other stuff on how you can fix that. A lot of people have those issues and it's their identity. And you're messing with their identity. You got to get past that. You got to help them past that. And you got to inoculate them from that and just say, look, plain and simple, man, you've never seen anything like this. You need to take a look at this. Would it be okay if I add you into that group? They say, no, do it anyway. Then the presentation is also done by the factory. Inside of Wellness Simplified, there's a pinned post. That does the presentation. The validation are all the other posts. That's the validation, validating what those products do. So the original question was, how do we pass that? When it's about the product, you pass it to Wellness Simplified. Now, when you're talking to them, finding out what's their interest, and it comes up with something that makes you think they're interested in the business, so here we are, we built rapport with them, we've piqued their interest. Next thing we need to do is we need to get them and edify the proof person. That's your job to do as well. When you're doing the edification, I will post out on Team Fusion Family. No, I will post out on Power Hour the exact script that you can use. Now, obviously, you're going to change the name and you're going to put in things, but if you were sending something directly to me, then you would send something like what I'm going to post out there. What you need to do is you need to find your leader in your organization that's got a post that's on Team Fusion Family that you can substitute for the link that I'm going to show you in mine. Yeah, I'll pull that. I'll show that later. Then we have to go digging and looking for it. But I will post that out. Or if somebody's got one handy that they've used to do, actually, this would be even easier. If somebody would post that to Power Hour for one that y'all have used me on a 3-way call, that'd be great. Karen or Jake or Sherry, somebody would do that. Jamie is a rock star at it. She's been doing the heck out of it. She's been putting me on so many. Other questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
On Wellness Simplified, when you add someone to the closed group,
Yep.
how do you go about pinning them? Because I've tried pinning. All I do is just add them to the group. I'm not able to pin them. So
Tagging is the word I think you're looking for. Tagging them is what you're wanting to be able to do. Let me show you how to do that right now. It's a good question. I think that a lot of people have that question. All right, so when you're in Wellness Simplified, the first thing that you want to do, did you say that you were able to add them?
Yes, I've been able to add.
Okay. Then what you want to do is you want to make sure they get tagged in at least 2 posts. The first one always is the pinned post. It's at the top.
Right.
If you're on your phone, there is a little thumbnail most likely, and it doesn't show this post. You got to click on it so it'll open up. You're going to go to comments, and when you get to the comments, you're going to go down to the bottom, and you type in the @ symbol is the safest way to make sure it shows up. And so Karen White is one of my friends, and she's in this group, or she wouldn't show up here. She would be underneath down here on the bottom. And then when I click on her, notice that it got rid of the @ symbol, and it makes it with this blue background.
Right.
Okay. Now, if I were to go in here and type in, oh man, I don't know. All right, so if I was going to add this guy, it's not going to work because they aren't in the group. Okay? And they'll be grayed out. So what you want to do is you want to make sure they are added to the group first, then you put the @ symbol, then you type in their name. When you click on them, then they're going to show up with that blue background. When you do that, it's going to show up in their feed.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. And the other place that you want to be able to tag them is in whatever it is issue that you thought of them about. And that's why you even reached out to them. Hey, I was reading this article about fibromyalgia and this lady that's been dealing with it, and now she's not dealing with it anymore, and I thought of you. Would it be okay if I add you to that group? I want you to take a look at that. Yeah, what you got? What's in it for them? Fibromyalgia. She's not dealing with it anymore. I don't want to deal with it anymore. Sounds like a plan. You can pitch to them because you know about fibromyalgia. They have told you something personal. Then you go find that post. When you find that post, the way you find the post is you go into search this group and you start typing in the issue of what they're dealing with. I typed in fibro. and it's going to sort through, and I'm going to find whichever other post that I want to tag them on. And I like this one. Anybody with fibromyalgia, I use this one all the time. Guy was a bodybuilder dealing with a lot of issues. And then I go into comment, and the same thing like we did before, @ symbol. Start typing the name. It shows up. You click on it. When you do that, it's got a blue background, and you know that is going to work then. Okay?
Thank
All
you.
right. You're welcome. All right, more question. I heard a question. What you got?
Casey, you've said many times before, sometimes it's all a matter of timing. I've added people to the Wellness Simplified page a while back, but if I try to go tag them now, it doesn't show up in bold print anymore. It has their name in the group. I'd like to try to take them off and add them again, but I'm not able to do that. So I think there's a certain time period when you're have them in the group that they can actually be highlighted and saved. They're in the group, but whenever I key in their name, like Karen White right there, it doesn't show up in bold print. So I know they're not getting tagged. Does that make sense?
It makes sense that they're not getting tagged, but it doesn't make sense on why. I don't know if it's a setting that you've got, but yeah, that I have not ran into that where anybody that I have made that's in my friend circle and I've added them to the group, I'm able to tag them in there.
Casey,
Well, I can do most of them. It just depends on how long they've been in there.
It's not like it's got a timer on it or anything like that.
if they took themselves out, then you won't be able to tag them. Like
That
if they
could
were
be a
in the group and
possibility.
then you were tagging them and then they took themselves out, then you can't tag them anymore.
What Sharon, do you think their name would still show up though? It's,
Well,
I understand what
they
you're
can
saying.
block, you can turn off notifications.
Before you
Right.
two get into this for the next 20 minutes, let's take that one off to the side because you're dealing with the Facebook thing there, and I think you're dealing with some pretty rare circumstances of that one.
Okay.
I'm not saying don't have that conversation. Just that's such a rarity. I don't want to confuse the situation on it.
I couldn't tell who was talking because I have just a little
It
bitty
was
bar.
Rob Slagle.
Okay, Rob.
My two customer gathering machines. If y'all two can get together.
All right. Cool beans.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Next question on here was how do we coordinate? Okay, I didn't realize there was follow-up scripts for if someone doesn't respond on three-way. Just FYI, what is the best way for us to contact you to set up a three-way potential partner? All right. So for the question, somebody asked me, what's the best way for us to contact you to set up a three-way with a potential partner? If you are in my organization, then you simply send me and just set it up. There's no questions asked on that. If you're not in my group, I would ask that you get with the person that's in your group and have them do that part for you. That's what they need to do. I don't have a problem helping people, but I also have to be cognizant of my time in my organization as well. And it is everything to be able to keep all the trains moving on time. So, again, I don't mind helping somebody if I can. But the best thing is find the person in your organization that will be able to do that for you. I will help you find that person. I'm not going to leave you out to dry. I just need to teach you to find the right person so that they're doing what they need to be doing. And if that person is not doing what they need to be doing, we need to find somebody for you that can and keep the organizational structure intact for the person that asked me that. All right, next one. So we can use Wellness Simplified with potential customers. And three-way calls are for business partners. Yes, that is correct, Kendra. Wellness Simplified is the three-way phone call for customers. It is the proof. Okay, it is the inoculation. It is the presentation. That presentation, when you tag them on that pin post, there's a video. There's the presentation. And they're seeing what they need to see about that product in Wellness Simplified. And then they're going to get their validation from all of the testimonies that you're going to tag them on as well. And then from the business side, the reason that you put them on that three-way phone call is for the inoculation. So that when somebody looks at this, if you were to just send them straight to DFY system and they start looking, they're going to say, oh, this looks like network marketing. I know all about network marketing. My brother's cousins, aunts, uncles, sisters, brothers, boyfriends, guy that was in prison for 3 years, called that guy, and that's the guy. and he didn't have any luck in it. So I know everything about multi-level marketing. So what we do is we need to inoculate them from that. We need to inoculate anybody that thinks they know all those things. They do not know about what they do. Unless they have done Team Fusion and they have done it in the last 3 months, they don't know about what we do. They don't have a clue. That's why we want to make sure we get them on the phone. Because when we get them on the phone, we will be able to break down those barriers and they will actually pay attention. When they say, can you send me the information? Nope, you're not getting the information until you talk to the guy. And we hold to that. We did that over at my house here on the training when we were doing that with Mike's son, Austin. And Austin reached out to a guy, followed the script. We were all role playing and actually doing the work, sends it out to this guy. And the guy's like, oh, tell me what it is. Guy says, I'll mess it up if I try. No, I know what you're doing. Just, no, tell me about it. Tell me something about it. He wouldn't do it. He was awesome. He would not respond back to him. Finally, guy goes, okay, fine. Put me on with your guy. Perfect. That's what I need. And here's the deal. If he wouldn't get on, he ain't getting in the business. Why? Because he can't follow instructions. He can't follow directions. He's not coachable. I don't care about those people. You go out and you go start your own new startup company and you crush it and you kill it and you try to figure out all the things that go into business, you might figure it out. 95% chance that you're not going to in your first 5 years. And if you do make it past your first 5 years, 95% chance you're going to fail in the next 5 years. But you go do you. I'm all for it. God bless you. But what we do here, if you're going to be a part of this, you follow the system. Plain and simple. All right. Next question. Both are for potential wellness. Simplified just comes first to be best of my knowledge. Yes. Sometimes I have to start typing the person's name to pull them up for tagging without the @ symbol. Yeah, Facebook can be a little funny sometimes. What is your suggestion when we pique a customer prospect that is not on Facebook? Try to get with them and take a picture. And so if for some reason somebody isn't on Facebook and I want to talk to them about fibromyalgia, then I am going to go here and I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to take a snapshot, go to the snipping tool, say new. And I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to send that to them in whatever means that they can get it, Claire. So I take it to them. If they can't go to Facebook, I take Facebook to them. Is there a little bit more work to do that? Yeah, but it takes just a couple seconds. It's not that big of a deal. All right. Let's see. Did I get all the questions? All right. Very good questions. So everybody at this point should be able to go out and get customers. And everybody out there should be able to go out and set up. Anyone know if there is a snipping-like tool for Mac? You Mac people. Be nice, Casey. First step, take the Mac, take it out back. Too funny. We'll let somebody answer that one if they can, or put it to Power Hour. All right. So you know what to do now to make this system work for you. Piquing is simply getting them to raise their hand. And then you got to get them to the edification. If it's a customer prospect, let Wellness Simplified do it. Do all the work for you. It's the factory. And if it's a business partner, business prospect, then you need to get them in touch with Proof. Set up that 3-way. Ideally, do it on Facebook Messenger. The reason for that is everybody that likes typing can type easier on a keyboard than they can on their phone. And text messaging is usually stuck to just their phone, so you give them more options. So if you've got that and you're not for sure, set it up on Facebook Messenger. It's also more rich of a format so that you can put other things out there. And then hopefully somebody was able to post out with what to say for that handoff. And if not, I will verify that and I'll put one out there if there's not one out there. All right. Any last questions before we wrap it up for the night? We're actually going to end right on time for a change. All right. Very good. All right. So our next meeting is going to be on Thursday. That'll be the 8th. I'm going to unmute the line so everybody can say good night, and I appreciate you all tuning in. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. If it was, give me a thumbs up. Awesome. Very good. Okay. All right, guys. Let me unmute. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
Night, John Boy.
Night.
Everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Night,
Glad you got on.
Thanks, Kate.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Hey, great presentation, Case.
Appreciate
Yes,
it, sir.
well,
Thank you.
love it. Thanks so much for sharing.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
See you.
Good night. Good night.